Good morning. Special edition of the Coffee with Dew. Can you hear me?
It's an emergency coffee with Dew.
Yes, emergency, special, everything in between.
I woke up.
I don't know.
I woke up to a text from you this morning. You were the one who informed me of what happened while we slept.
I can't believe you were up. That had to be like 3:34 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know when I kind of slept in today. I woke up about 5:30, which is sleeping in for me. And I don't know what time you sent that text, but anyway, you were the one who broke the news.
We got a lot going on here. So obviously, you guys, Trump goes in, extracts Maduro. Now, I got a tweet from Attorney General Pamela Bondi. She says here, Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. Nicolas Maduro has been charged with narco-terrorism, conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices against the United States. So he's going to be, I guess, arraigned, and he's indicted, and we'll see where that takes us. But you know how Pam Bondi is. I mean, gosh, I wish she would bite a little bit more than bark, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, here's the thing. You continue to be more in tune with a lot of this stuff than I am. I mean, for all like the conversations you and I have, whether it's on the phone or over text or on, your YouTube channel here, you pay closer attention to a lot of this than I do. In fact, I'm going to want to pick your brain about a topic in a minute that one of my friends texted me about this morning when he knew we were doing this show. But this is what I think is the headline from this. And let's forget about the specific act of Trump removing Maduro, going in there with the military and extracting Maduro and bringing him to justice. We can talk about that forever, but there are a couple of points that I want to make sort of on a broader political point of view, if you will. And you and I have talked about this before. No one in the history of American politics has ever been better about forcing his political opponents into adopting completely absurd political positions. And here are a few that I just jotted down this morning because I flipped through social media probably the same way you did. And I saw some of the, just embarrassing reactions that some people, including one or two Republicans, I might add, but mostly
lots
your
of
typical white liberals. But here are some of the things that Democrats now rally around or pick up the cause for. And some of this has been going on for a long time. Illegal immigrants, Hamas, Somali fraudsters in Minnesota, trans athletes, men who want to, compete in women's sports, and recently Venezuelan drug smugglers who, die in these, helicopter attacks over the Gulf of America. And I think that Democrats are so hell-bent on fighting every single word that Trump speaks and every action that he takes that I'm not sure they bother asking, do Americans actually support him here? They go into their default setting, which is fight everything Trump says, fight everything Trump does, label him a racist, fascist, dictator, blah, 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 because that's what their voters want. And obviously their voters are their key to power. No voters, no power. I think that the last 10 years, and it's, Trump was inaugurated. We're not quite on the 10-year anniversary of that for the first time, but we're approaching it. It's basically been, I think it was around 10 years ago, he maybe won the Iowa caucus or was camping. You get the math. They've exposed an underlying issue in this country that I really didn't know existed beforehand. There is a large segment of this population and almost all of them are liberals, in my opinion, that they seem to have a pathological resistance to strength, bold action, muscle flexing, whatever it is, taking action. They don't like it. They don't like the demonstration of strength. They don't like. In fact, we heard the new mayor of New York talk about rugged individualism as opposed to the collective. I forget what words he used, but the gist of it was, individual strength bad, the community good. The bottom line is that the Democrat Party survives by getting bitter, resentful people to the polls. Bitter, resentful people often blame America for all the bad things that they're resentful towards. Okay. If we dumbed all this down, there are effectively two sides in this country right now, and we can talk about issues, but it comes down to one side loves America, wants to see it succeed and do all the good things. And the other side basically hates America and what America stands for. Okay. I'm oversimplifying it, but I'm not that far off. Okay. So what it means is the Democrat Party has effectively no choice but to rally around causes that sort of defy common sense if you love America. Okay. It's either that or they are going to fail to rally people to the polls. Conservatives or pro-America, the pro-America crowd are close. I think we're closer now than ever to changing the narrative in this country, to putting a complete stop to the nonsense that has been growing and growing, really, I think, since Obama took office in 2008. So what we're going to have to see now is, will the pro-America half of this country, maybe it's more than half and we just didn't know it, but are we going to vote in 2026? It's the pro-America conservative element in the country, in my opinion, tends to step in when they feel they have no other choice, and then they go back to living their lives and just being happy, productive people, and they aren't that focused anymore. And that's when the left rises and takes advantage of situations. So, as you and I have discussed, Steve-O, in betting markets right now, the Democrat Party is a massive favorite to retake at least one chamber of Congress in 2026. Massive favorite, like a 3-1 favorite. Okay. To me and you, and we've talked about this on the phone and on your YouTube channel, that to me, I don't understand how that could be, how that could ever happen. I don't see how that could happen.
Well, it was the narrative. Trump took over a mess, as we know, and you often hear that, but it was truly a mess. Inflation numbers are better. GDP growth is better. We're in an upward tick. Trump has to just continue that into 2026. I've told you before, we have a lot of good things happening in 2026. We have the World Cup coming here. We have the UFC fight at the White House. We have the 250th anniversary. We're going to get a new Fed chair. It's going to be Kevin Hassett. He's going to lower interest rates, probably 150 to 200 basis points. We're also going to get tariff checks out to people, pay down the debt a little bit, and take out some drug lords in between. So if that's not good enough, and if people want communism and things of that nature, I guess they're going to vote for the Democrats and want Sharia law, and I don't know what else.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as this specific act, I mean, even our buddy, I'm not going to say who, but he sent, to the Lone Speed group text.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have to name him. I mean, he can come on if he wants, but he said, well, this was, an act like this requires an act of Congress. But for my entire life, literally I shouldn't say literally. The first time I remember would be like when Reagan bombed Libya in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Without an act of Congress. I mean, presidents have been taking action along these lines without acts of Congress. In fact, I don't know if they've ever had an act of Congress in my life. And maybe like the war in Iraq or Afghanistan or something did. I don't know if they did or not. But you've still got this element of our country that doesn't like Trump, that's going to find fault with every decision that he makes, and they're going to be vocal about it. But I got to be honest, my guess is more than half of the country supports what Trump did today.
Yeah,
I don't have the facts to back
I
that
think
up. What do you think?
I think if people are watching certain channels, they're gonna hear a narrative and just continue to pound that drum. You can see what Secretary Marco Rubio said here. Maduro is not the president of Venezuela, and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the Cartel de las Soles, a narco terror organization which has taken possession of a country, and he is under indictment for pushing drugs into the United States. So this, and other people are talking about oil, but you got to keep in mind this guy was not elected. Eduardo Gonzalez was elected by a landslide in July of 24 to be the president of Venezuela. Our boy Maduro pretty much said, no, I'm in charge of this election. You're not going to be the president, even though you got, I don't know, 60, 70% of the vote or more. So he had to flee to Spain. And we also have Machado, the gal. She won a Nobel Peace Prize. I thought the left liked the Nobel Peace Prize. Isn't it something that they kind of like see as a noble thing? Well, she won it, and she's not allowed in the country either. But I have a picture of them together on my Facebook wall, celebrating a victory a couple of years ago, and I'll share it here. Well, if I can find it. Facebook's weird. But anyway,
Yeah, so,
Maduro's not even the elected. He wasn't even democratically elected. He just kind of took power, pushed drugs, is stealing all the oil. 25 generals supposedly have like $1 billion each in bank accounts in Swiss banks. I saw here's an article on that right here.
See, but you're going to post things which I have no reason to refute, but it's like I have no idea how much of this stuff is true, which is why I tend to not get bogged down in things like this, because this day and age, whether it's artificial
$10 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that's believable. I mean, that, he would pay off people who protect him. But I'm in the category of not really believing pretty much anything that I read, even if it's, supports one of my positions, just because I have no idea what's true. For instance, a buddy of mine texted me this morning and said that Venezuela ultimately was responsible for stealing the 2020 election because of this Dominion company that was created by Venezuelans to steal an election somewhere in the past and infiltrated America. And I don't know if that's true. I figured you, Steve-O, probably know more about that than I do.
I've heard a little bit about that. I've heard of different countries that were involved in it too, to be honest. But those machines are pretty nefarious. But here's a photo of Edmundo Gonzalez, who won, and Maria Machado. And if you do a little research on these two people, everybody, you'll know that Machado, the gal on the left, won the Nobel Peace Prize. The guy on the right, Gonzalez, he won the election in a landslide. And the people want this in Venezuela. They're living in poverty. The money, it's kind of like what you see in Somalia. Remember the movie Black Hawk Down? Where the UN was dropping off food and you had to, the warlords taking control of the food. It's in charge of this group now, this Islamic group, and we're going to do what we want with it. Well, it's kind of like the same thing over there with oil in Venezuela. And then they're not giving them food at the same time, and they're all starving in the streets. But this is something that the people want. Let's see. We have somebody that's chiming in. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, wait. Is this the guy we were talking about?
Yes. Yeah, and I literally was on the phone with him when you opened up this app before we went on air, but you saw me on the phone. I was talking to Casper's here. And I'm like, Steve, hasn't this happened a million times? His name is also Steve, by the way. I said, Steve, hadn't this happened, every time we've done so? He's like, yes, but that doesn't make it legal. I'm like, okay, well, why are you speaking up now? Because you hate Trump? I mean, like it's been going on forever. I highly doubt Obama had congressional authorization when he killed American citizens in Yemen, which I didn't care about. I'm sure they had it coming. But you know, it's an anti-Trump. It's a pathological resistance to, and I say pathological, I mean pathological. Like, people literally hate him and what he represents so much, they are incapable of objectively viewing anything that he does. See, what does it say? America First pages don't want a foreign country like Israel controlling our government. They want this to end. This will hurt the Republican Party in the next. I don't know what I don't understand the anti-Israel sentiment.
Israel
either.
bad. Hamas terrorists are good.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's another issue where I don't get down into the weeds too much. I just look at things on a superficial level, because I think 99.9% of what happens in the world happens in the superficial layer, like in the what's apparent to the naked eye. For my entire life, Muslims have been killing innocent people all around the world. Israelis have not been doing that. So it's easy to decide which side I'm on there.
All right, Stevie D likes checks and balances.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't a war. It's not a war.
But in DeCastro,
I think we prevented a war.
The same, the same Congress that impeached Trump twice for total bullshit reasons. You're going to trust that band of idiots to make a decision for the betterment of the American people? I mean, like, why? They're there to get in the way, protect their power. Fuck them.
I'm trying to find Trump if he's talking.
By the way, while you're looking, here's a mug my wife got for me a long time ago. Since this is Coffee with Dew, nobody is better at horse racing than you. All other horse races are total disasters. Believe me. Or everyone agrees, believe me.
Believe me.
That was a birthday present for my wife a long time ago. I think it was it might have been from my kids. I don't know who the hell gave it to me.
So I'm looking for a live feed when Trump's going to talk. I'm trying to see if there's got to be something.
Is he on right now?
I don't think he's on yet, but.
Well, you should do what we do for the Derby and election night. Find your feed and run that on the screen here. Can you do that?
That's what I'm gonna do.
So I would just go to Fox News and share a screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do if I can find it. Let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, okay. And as far as DeCasper saying he doesn't hate Trump, okay. I mean, that's fair. I don't think I wouldn't say you're strongly pro-Trump. You're certainly, DeCasper is certainly a conservative, and he's not part of the radical left that hates America.
No.
This is how I would describe, if somebody who'd never met DeCaspers asked me to describe him, he's sort of a contrarian in the sense that, if an alien spaceship were to land down the street from DeCasper's house, and the aliens got off the ship carrying, their special alien machine guns or whatever, DeCaspers would say, you know what? I'm not convinced this is a bad thing. That's what his answer would be. So for those of you watching, that's the guy you're seeing on the screen right now commenting. Oh, my wife is watching. She said she gave me the mug. How's your audio visual skills here, Steve? Are you going to get us on the air for Fox News?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the link. It's not up yet. We're just waiting, but I have the. All
right, so make sure that
the live feed.
By the way, am I the only one drinking coffee today? Usually, you're drinking coffee.
I'm drinking. Well, yeah, I've been drinking coffee. I got mushroom coffee.
I don't even know. I don't think I want to know what that is. You're holding up a Bears mug, so you've come around on Williams.
I've come around. Listen, it dawned on me. I'm big Bulls fan. Dennis Rodman painted his fingernails. Dennis Rodman was a little goofy.
Yeah.
And I rooted for Dennis Rodman. So, you know what it was? The kid, he was handing out food over Christmas. He was, he's not a bad guy. I mean, look, here's the deal. He's winning. Winning cures everything.
Yeah, winning cures absolutely everything. I mean, I didn't think. I mean, at this point, a year ago, people were saying that Jaden Daniels should have been the first pick and Caleb Williams was a bust. Now look at it. Jaden Daniels was out more than half the year, I think.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels was hurt. He had a remarkable rookie season. I tell you what, though, Drake May, he's doing some remarkable things on New England.
We could talk
So
about the
this is the
college.
live feed. We got some time. When it comes up, I'll when it starts playing, I'll have it here. I'll put it on our
Okay,
screen.
good. And you'll
A
have
lot of
volume
stuff
too.
going on. Yeah, college. Me and Dick Caspers. Did you? Yeah, I'll have volume. Did you catch the coffee or in the coffee with you the Oaklawn Capping Hour last night with me, Marco, and Steve DeCaspers?
No, I did
He was on
not.
the
I
show
haven't.
last night.
Listen, I'm completely out of the horse racing loop. 100%. I know nothing. So the answer is no. I did not catch that.
You know nothing. Well, you're gonna do our fantasy draft for the Kentucky Derby or Triple Crown.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Later on.
I mean, the Pegasus is coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll be
So
there.
yeah, your birthday's coming up. What's the deal with that? I mean, did that thing die in a vine or what happened?
No, I mean, Frank, Dylan, me, and I think Rich are going to be there. It was never a birthday thing. I only mentioned the birthday for first of all, there's a horse racing day that's called the Pegasus. It's a big race in South Florida. It happens to be on my birthday. I love it. You know, I love it when our whole group is together. So I thought by linking it to my birthday, it would rally the troops. People would come. And for the most part, about half of us will be there, I think. I think Brent's trying to come too, but maybe he's out. I don't know.
I was 50-50 for the longest time. And man, it's just January is so crazy because I got Orthodox Christmas. And then I'm going for my aunt's birthday on the 30th. It's her big 75th birthday or something. Look, and then I got a surprise Oaklawn tournament that's happening.
Right.
And then I'm going to Houston. I'm going to Houston too, which I go every year, but I could have. I don't know. It's just the timing. Just
look. I couldn't care less.
And I feel bad about it. I feel bad about it.
Why? Wait. Didn't you already have? Aren't you already 50?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know you're. I know you're older than me, and I'm almost 50. But you're older by a couple of months. I don't even know when your birthday is. So don't feel bad about missing my stupid birthday.
It's the date of the date of the birth of the Marine Corps.
The 12th?
The 10th.
Oh, it's the 10th, the day before Veterans Day. Okay. November 10th. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I wanted to yeah,
well, so anyway, here's
Hawthorne. Frank. Have you heard about Hawthorne?
Yeah, I got the same text that you got this morning. I mean, that's been in the works for a long time. And then Frank sent a text. Frank said that some casino company is going to buy it, but I guess we don't know what that means, right?
I was kind of hoping Frank's people would buy it. When I say his people, his people.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it feels like live racing in Illinois is probably dying or completely dead. Maybe not. Maybe they'll have certain days. Gulfstream just came to an agreement with the Florida Horsemen, so they're going to have fewer racing dates. But that it saved the sport for now. It wouldn't surprise me if this is the last ever Pegasus Invitational this month. Wouldn't surprise me if we don't ever have it again. So another reason to be down there for that.
I was there.
Go ahead.
Arrogate.
Who is?
Arrogate. I was there for Arrogate.
Yeah.
How do you say Arrogate? Arrogate.
No.
Arrogate.
The horse's name was Arrogate.
Arrogate. I was there for that. And that was kind of cool. But I was there for the Claiming Crown one year when they had that. And then, of course, I've seen a couple other races there live. And it's a nice paddock area. It's relaxing. But
what is Trump on the stage yet?
Not yet. Fashionably late with all this stuff.
Well, he said 11. He probably wants people to come on the air and hear, talking heads on Fox News talk.
Yeah, they're going to talk. Oh, I did have one thing. He did mention something on air. I'll share this from Valuetainment. It's a short 22-second clip, but I thought it was interesting in what he said about the raid here. Where's it at?
By the way, while you're looking, silver, this is now worth over $80.
Is it 80 now?
Yeah, It's like 71 or 2 an ounce. It was up over 80 briefly, like last week.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was when I held this up the first time on your show and told people to buy silver, it was around $30. Now it's 70 and change.
It's
yeah.
crazy. But shouldn't it be like 10% of gold?
Gold is, I think gold's around $4,400 an ounce, give or take, somewhere in there.
So shouldn't silver be theoretically, 10% of gold or no?
I don't know. Are we going to hear?
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Showing us.
Prepared to do a second wave. We were all set and this was so lethal. This was so powerful that we didn't have to. We're prepared. We're out there with an armada like nobody's ever seen before. And we're prepared. And frankly, probably thought we were going to have to do it. But we were prepared for a second wave going in.
So that was interesting. They didn't have to do it. It was like surgery. They went in, they extracted them, they got out, and it's pretty amazing.
Well, Trump says, look, I'll be honest. Trump gives his opponents a lot of ammunition, like those plaques that he put on the presidential walk of fame and leading into the Oval. You saw that, didn't you?
I saw the auto pen for Biden.
Yeah, and just like saying things like talking about what horrible presidents Obama and Clinton were and how corrupt others were and how Ronald Reagan was a big fan of Donald Trump. Like some of the things he does are just so intentionally inflammatory. Mm-hmm. And part of me wishes he would just be more mature than that. A
little bit over.
But the other part of me is like, good. If it's making liberals insane and on the verge of just giving up, good.
But keep in mind, this is from a guy Obama did spy on his campaign. I believe that the CIA had something to do with that kid on the roof in Pennsylvania. I believe that they had something to do with the guy in the bushes on the golf course. They tried to kill him. So the guy's a little salty. Can't blame him.
Yeah, I think honestly, if powerful people in America, truly powerful people in America, really wanted Trump dead, I think he'd probably be dead. I think the worst case scenario with regard to that the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt was maybe the Secret Service or some other law enforcement was like, you know what, maybe we'll just turn our backs and maybe see what might happen. I don't know. That's probably and I'm not even saying that I think that happened. I think that's probably the worst case scenario, because I think if anybody wanted Trump dead and they had real power, he would be dead. That's what I think.
Well, I think there's a lot of unusual forces going on. You're right about him. Like being presidential. This is a guy that was on WWE. This is a guy that had his own reality TV show. Okay. He's dealt with a lot of interesting characters in the business world, and
So you just touched on another very key point, Steve-O. A very key point. A lot of people's resistance to Trump and their aversion to him and their disdain for him comes from the fact that they ultimately don't really know what the president is or does. They think the president is like our best person. What is this person saying? Historically, gold is usually 20-1 with silver. Not always, though. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Okay. Trump, I think people overthink what the president symbolizes. It's not supposed to symbolize anything. He's not supposed to be a role model. Be a parent to your kids. If you're relying on politicians to be role models or set a tone or set an example, then you're a fucking awful parent. Shut the fuck up. The president's job is to preside over the executive branch of government and make sure it's working in a manner consistent with what the American people really need. That is what Trump is doing. At least that's what he thinks he's doing. You can disagree with him, but he thinks the executive branch of government has been mismanaged and misrun for a very, very, very long time. And he thinks things like tariffs. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at 3 marriages, okay, fine. Womanizer, by the way, loves women, not kids. This thing with this whole other thing with this Epstein thing is just a complete joke. Yes, he knew him. Yes, he's in the files for doing business dealings with him. No, he didn't go to his island. No, he didn't rape little kids. It's just stupid. But, they got to gravitate and change the narrative. But if you look at Trump, just look at his kids and how they act and look at his grandkids.
Right.
They're all really outstanding people.
Yeah, they're clean cut. They're responsible. They present themselves well. And look, I mean, a lot of people with money have kids that conduct themselves well, even if they, at least in public. Okay, we don't know what these kids are like behind the scenes. They might be coke addicts for all we know, and I don't really give a shit. The point is, look what's happening in Minnesota. Is Trump on the stage yet, by the way?
No, I got the same, everybody's talking. When's he coming? When's he coming on? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the point I was starting to make there is that this idea that the president is some distinguished person that sets the tone and sends a message to the French and the Germans about who Americans are, fuck you. If you give a shit what the French or the Germans think about you based on who your president is, you're a fucking loser. A fucking loser. Who gives a shit? Bernie
Sanders. Oh, they got free healthcare in Canada and Scandinavia. Oh. Yeah, you got to wait in line for 9 months to get a freaking, I don't know, your appendix removed.
I heard something that it was either Bernie Sanders or the new mayor of New York said something about how the bus in New York City should be free. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I kind of agree that, free transportation throughout a city is probably a legitimate idea. I mean, am I wrong? Oh, here we go.
You're not wrong. And we've got something brewing here. All right, we'll just wait for them to come on. He's getting ready to. So what do you think he's going to say?
He'll say what a great success it was. Hey, there's some guy's forehead. He'll say it was a tremendous success and nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it even his generals were amazed at how efficient it was.
Like this before.
What's that? Yeah. Yes.
Nobody's ever seen anything like this before.
Yeah. You just kind of got to roll your eyes there. Just roll your eyes when Trump says shit like that. Who cares? The bottom line is he's doing a lot of very good things. I mean, let's be honest.
Right.
What if you believe? Let me rephrase. If you have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump is kicking illegal immigrants out of this country, what is your justification for having that problem? I mean, seriously, it's a fair question.
There's nothing. And especially when a lot of them are criminals. I mean, there's some bad actors. Listen, I have family. I've told you this before in Europe, in Eastern Europe, that want to come here. One came here legally, took her years. She did this, did that, fill out the paperwork, took a test, works, has a child now. And I got a couple other family members that would like to do the same, but it's a process. And by the way, my cousin, who couldn't speak any English at all, speaks perfect English now. And she learned how to speak English very quickly. So
yeah, this is the
question. Kind of thing that we want. We want people that want to be productive, that love the country, and that want to come here.
The question I always ask liberals, and they can never give a good answer, because when you try to pin them down on specifics, they fail miserably. It's a very simple series of questions. Question number one, do you think everybody on earth who wants to come to America and stay for as long as they want should be allowed to come to America right now? Yes or no? And they always say, well, no, that's not what I'm saying. And then you ask, okay, well, then how do we determine who's allowed to come here now and stay forever and who's not? So, and that's when they usually say, oh, you're a racist and you're big, and America was founded by immigrants and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, just answer a very simple question. It's not racist to ask this. Like, tell me what you think the rules should be. And they never can, because that's not what it's about to them. That's not what it's about. We all know why they want tons of illegals here. There's a series of reasons why.
Well, listen, a lot of it is for votes, but keep in mind also, even if they can't vote, which there's no voter ID laws in all the states that Kamala Harris won, bing, bing. But even if they can't vote, the population that they create gets you more electoral college votes
Right.
in those states.
And that's so it's a
so
combination of things. There's a combination of reasons why the borders were wide open during the Biden years. And they are, one is to keep wages low because American corporations want to pay people fewer dollars. And if fruit pickers in California are making $25 an hour because the ranches have to pay, have to pay legal citizens, that means every job salary goes up. So you got to keep those jobs paying whatever, 10, 12 bucks an hour, or whatever the lowest they can possibly justify paying, to keep wages lower everywhere else. And it's also funny to me that California, which passed I think a $20 an hour minimum wage, now there's like fast food restaurants where there are no employees because they just fired people because they can't pay them $20 an hour. Right. That's the ultimate result. So you've got that, you've got the wages, you've got the illegal voting. You've also got unimpressive liberal white people, and I'm talking about the same beta males and ugly women that are resentful of, the haves versus the have-not concept. They want this country to look less white because they don't like white people. Usually, in the case of women, because they've been rejected by white men, and in the case of beta males, it's because they never really measured up to white guys. The people they resent are white. And then they feel that they appear superior. Like anytime a liberal says racist, that liberal thinks that they in that moment appear to be superior. Well, why is that important to them? It's because they've had a lifetime feeling inferior. And anytime an inferior person can flex his muscles and show himself to be superior, they're going to take that chance. And they think that by pointing out racism everywhere, that's why they come out with blog posts about how grocery stores are racist. Why? Because it gets their dopamine hit. That's the equivalent of a drug addict going like this, injecting heroin into their veins. And these people
the virtue signaling.
It's exactly what it is. It's virtue signaling. Where's Trump? Damn it. He's fucking 23 minutes late.
Yeah. Where's this guy at? So Anthony said money laundering. We could throw that in there too. Votes and money laundering. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah.
Trump. I mean, we knew it was I figured they'd be a little late. But what like James Carville once. By the way, James Carville is freaking crazy, man. He's really gone off the deep rails lately. He's an old cranky old bastard. He's getting like Paul Feinbaum from the SEC network. But it's the economy, stupid, right? It's all going to be about the economy in 2026, and that'll tell you what you need to know going into the midterms. Our GDP numbers going to continue to get better? Is the unemployment going to continue to get better? Are the gas prices going to stay where they are or get lower? Is the inflation going to continue to drop? It's lower now than it was when he took office. It's 2.7. It was 3 when he took office.
You may already know that creatine is one of the most proven supplements to
boost muscle.
I don't know what this is. This. It was a little commercial.
Yeah, probably had
commercial that was playing. But as long as the economy and you can see the trajectory of the economy right now with a lot of things, it's looking good. He took over. He had clean up on aisle 5, 6, and 7. He had a lot of problems when he came in, and Biden wasn't even the president. So. People got to settle down. I mean, they're mad. They're upset. They got bitch slapped. They lost the popular vote. They lost every swing state. They have poor candidates. They got poor candidates in 2028. And they just want to bitch and moan.
I mean, listen, these gambling odds that suggest the Democrats are going to take at least one chamber of Congress in 20. It's got me concerned. I'm not going to lie. It's Kalshi, it's Polymarket, it's the betters.
Yeah. Well, that's early action.
What does Mel think?
Well, yeah, my dad, he thinks that the Republicans are going to win the House, even though historically it doesn't happen very often after the new incumbent comes in. But I mean, it's kind of normal in that regard, but I'd like to see us win the House, the Senate, keep the Senate at least, and win the House. But I'm with you. It's hard. Plus the redistricting. But California, they've been playing games for a long time. Illinois got like puzzle pieces for districts. California, they're doing weird things. So Texas is like, okay, if you want to play that game, we're going to play that game too.
So it sounds like Maduro was trying to get into his safe room. He had a solid steel safe room that he was trying to get into, and he couldn't get into it.
Well, that might have happened if he thought it was something else. I don't know. I mean, the United States military, that safe room wasn't going to do anything for him.
And it looks like I'm seeing footage right now of Venezuelans celebrating in the streets.
Oh,
hey,
there's
Frank,
a lot of
hey,
celebrating.
Hey, Frank's calling me. Hold on. Are you calling because you want to be on Coffee with Dew, which is airing right now, and you're on the air? Oh. The short version is the military went in with helicopters and the Delta Force, and they knew exactly where he was, and they broke into his house so quickly he didn't have time to get into his safe room, and they arrested him and put him on a boat back to America. That's it.
That's pretty good.
All right. All right, I'll call you back later. Bye. That was Frank. Frank didn't know we were on the air, apparently. He wanted to know how we got him out. So I gave him the lowdown.
Oh, okay.
Frank's on his way to Vegas, by the way, for his 39th anniversary, and he's going to see the Backstreet Boys.
I thought that was a joke, but okay. You know, I keep forgetting Frank is only about what? He's 9 years older than us.
A little more than that, I think. I think
11, 12.
He's already has. I think he's 61.
Okay.
Hey, there's a big delay between us. Did you know?
They come out in like
there's
88,
a big delay.
89.
Hey, there's a delay. I'm going to log out, Steve-O, and I'm going to log back in because we keep talking over each other. Are you seeing that? All right, I'm going to log out. Hold on.
You sound good to me, but maybe on your end, it sounds a little different. And hopefully we'll get Trump back on here. We're now about 28 minutes late. Kind of figured this would happen, but we'll get them live. I hear some rustling in the background. If you guys did not catch the Oaklawn Capping Hour last night, it's taped. It's on the it's on my YouTube channel. Steve DeCasper's joined in. We had some interesting information there and some runners, including we talked about the Smarty Jones Stakes that's today. So feel free to jump in and look at that content. How's this sound?
Do we still have a delay?
You sound fine to me.
Well, I think we both sound fine, but I think there's about a 1.5 second delay from when I finish talking to when you hear me finish talking. But that's all right. We'll just make do.
You're not going to me.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. I hear people talking in the background at the White House, or actually, I think it's at Mar-a-Lago.
No, it is. It is at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah. So while we got time, Bitcoin still in the 90s, or is it in the 80s, or where is it?
Well, it's been hovering in the upper 80s. It got as low as 79,000 at one point, maybe about 3 weeks ago. It's currently about 90,000, maybe just under it, or right around 90 on the dot. A little bit of a rebound since the first. Which typically happens. People get stuff off the books and then they buy or move things around on, for the new fiscal year.
So you need to research.
But
the story around silver, which what I'm hearing is that like in China, physical silver is going for like $95 an ounce, but in America it's a different market because there's, quote, paper silver. People buy silver futures, and that suppresses the price and blah blah blah. I know this. If you go online to the well-known reputable bullion dealers, an ounce like this is an American, a silver eagle. It's basically silver bullion issued by the U.S. Mint. It's a $1 coin, but you wouldn't spend it. It's just legal bullion. You want to buy one of these online, you're going to pay like $85 or something. So the price of silver has nearly tripled since I first talked about it on Coffee with Dew.
That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's really something for, something with a market cap that large and to triple like that. Yeah, Bitcoin is 90,000 basically on the dot, $90,004. And it's up almost 3% in the last week, which is good. My project that I was touting, at the time it was 290, it went all the way down to 206, and now it's at 248. And I think it's a good buy there. BitTensor Tau. Yeah. It's a cryptocurrency that you can buy on Coinbase, which is probably the most recognizable and reputable cryptocurrency exchange.
Crypto's your domain. Crypto's not my domain. It's never been my domain. I let you handle the crypto. I'll handle the precious metals.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you do the precious metals. I'll do the crypto. And also, we need to talk about robotics, not just AI, for some stocks, some companies. We saw what NVIDIA did. Tesla is going to get really big into robotics. It's not just a car company. The ARK Fund, Kathy Wood, she's heavily invested in Tesla and Bitcoin. And she said that it's probably going to go over $1,000 per share this year. But that's what she said.
Is anybody actually watching?
Where's Trump?
How many viewers we got right now?
We've got 38 right now, which, I put the thumbnail together a couple hours ago and got it up on YouTube, and we'll get a lot of people that will watch it later as well.
The reason is we're not talking about enough horse racing anymore. That's what's. Remember when we would do this and people would say, "Get to the horse racing. Stop talking about politics."
Well, this is kind of a big deal. Whatever. I like this is we can get it. We get new people in for this content, but as far as horse racing goes, I had a show last night. I know you don't like dirt racing, so I haven't invited you on the Oaklawn Capping Hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you ever wanted to do Oaklawn Capping Hour, you let me know. I'll get you on.
Did I see that Nick Tamaro gave out like a huge bomb on your show?
Yeah, Nick gave out a couple of nice picks, and their meet starts. Did it start yesterday? Let me see.
I don't know.
Or is that today? There's racing today at Sam Houston. Nick's a great race caller.
I know he is.
He's
really
clear,
good.
Concise. I like how he calls the races. Yeah.
Totally. No, he's really good. I put him up there with like the at the top level for sure.
Right. Yeah, I do too. I think he's he was mentioning on air that Texas might get their own advanced wagering site.
What would that do?
Which would be kind of neat. Just for Texas racing. Well, just for Texas racing, I guess people from across the country can bet on their advanced wagering site. Which I would like to do, to be honest. I like Sam Houston and I like Lone Star.
All right, I'm starting to. I got things to do here. I can't be sitting around waiting for our president forever. I mean, I don't know why he can't be on time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. I do want to talk about we did you have a chance to look at the Smarty Jones or no? Probably not.
No. No, I did not look at the Smarty Jones. I'm not engaged
it's not that
at
good
all.
Of a rendition.
Look, I paid a lot of attention to college football.
You're not engaged.
I'm not engaged in the horses.
By the way, Signetti. I mean, Signetti is the best coach in college football, and Indiana is. I mean, Alabama took him lightly, or what happened there?
I think Alabama was not good this year, and I said that they should not have made the playoffs. I thought it was ridiculous they made it over Notre Dame, and they got slaughtered in the SEC championship game. The committee didn't want to count that game against them, and I guess I can sort of understand the logic unless it's a complete blowout, and they lost 2 games before. My take on it is, look, if you don't want a loss in the conference championship game to count against you, then don't lose twice in the regular season, which Alabama did. So that was their 3rd loss. And now that's their 4th loss. And, you know, I just think it's absurd.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it.
They can't run the football.
Yeah. So they're done. I think it's exciting, the 4 teams we have in it. I would love to see Mississippi. I mean, I like Miami's fun to watch. They got some athletes. I'm just looking forward to watching that game. I don't think Oregon is very good. I think Indiana will trounce them. And then I think we'll be looking at Indiana versus, I don't know who they'll play in the final, but
Oregon.
No, in the final. And I think Indiana's going to kill Oregon in the semifinal. I think it'll be. I think the other game will be a fun game to watch. Lane Kiffin got a $500,000 bonus.
Miami versus.
I don't know. We have a delay. We're talking over each other in a big way.
Oh, my bad. Shit. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's one of us has a slow internet connection at our house. It might be me. I don't know. But
I'm plugged in, but might be my computer.
Yeah. No, it could be me. Could be my house.
Shut down some windows here. I think I had too many windows open. I'm getting a new computer.
Oh yeah, what for?
I'm gonna be mining some stuff, some cryptos, and then I'm gonna get another computer I'm gonna get 2 more computers.
Okay, to mine cryptocurrency.
Boy, yeah.
There we go.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff.
Turn it up. There you go.
Appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer.
Good God.
All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military working with U.S. law enforcement successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again. Like,
build a website you love.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Hold on.
For your words,
What the fuck?
collaboration with U.S. law enforcement.
Commercials, man.
Caught them in a very ready.
Hey, you sound
position.
better, by
They
the
were
way.
Waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming, so they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of
I love
what
Trump.
we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich,
I know,
independent, and safe.
he's so vain.
Will also make the
Dude, he's
many,
incredible.
many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship they'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they call police. They were brutal.
Damn.
But they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now. And crime is down. We just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have grind down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in
All-star
Chicago,
panel.
and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital.
Okay, I thought he does this. This is a press conference about Maduro, right?
One of the safest cities in the country.
Yeah, we're talking about,
Gangs
is he talking about the gangs?
Tortured and murdered American.
Is he
women.
talking about the gangs getting drugs into the cities? I don't know, but he's kind of going in off the beaten path a little bit. But well, here we go.
Again, be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari. What happened to her?
So he's talking about the drugs that came in, killed Americans.
I'm kind of losing interest
like
at this
that.
point. But hey, I think the headline there is he acknowledged. By the way, the sound issue is fixed. Whatever you did when he came on stage to fix your microphone or whatever,
I closed a bunch of windows. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. How about him saying we're basically gonna take over Venezuela, and we're gonna run it until somebody else can step in and do it. He mentioned the oil. Obviously, that's a part of this.
Right.
I mean, somehow that. So here's
infrastructure.
Here's another thing. Yeah. Here's something else I didn't really mention in my kind of opening monologue, which is that since the dawn of mankind, countries have done what is in their interest to the extent that they can influence things. I mean, in other words, countries do what is in their best interest, and they take action when they can afford to take action and do something about it. Trump clearly thinks that Maduro being out is good for the American people. He talks about the drugs. Obviously, there's an oil element to this, which he just acknowledged in his speech. And I'm fine with that. Every other country, look what China's doing. China has taken over a lot of South America, a lot of Africa, and, they're doing things that are in the best interest of the Chinese people and the Chinese Communist Party. Why shouldn't we do that? Trump wants to take Greenland. I don't know if he's going to get Greenland or not. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But, Trump, it's the Trump doctrine is very, very simple, and it's very hard to argue with. And the Trump doctrine, if you dumb it down, is that for a very long time, the American people have been sending representatives to Washington, and those people have not been operating in the best interest of the American people. And Donald Trump has decided that he is going to operate in what he thinks is the best interest of the American people. Getting illegals out of here, regime change in Venezuela, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. He thinks those things are in America's interest. I happen to agree with him. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if he's right. I don't have any idea. But common sense to me dictates these things are ultimately going tariffs. Are we headed to a time, Steve-O, when most Americans, or let me rephrase, when very few Americans have to pay federal income tax because the revenue
he's talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, that might happen. That might happen. The world is changing very, very rapidly. I know a number of people that are, recently out of work and looking for jobs, and the American labor force is changing. Artificial intelligence is a big part of that. This is not the time to have tens of millions of people in here doing jobs that Americans could be doing, and that would pay more money if Americans did do them. And so these are the things that Trump believes. The liberals try so hard to paint him as something other than what he is. Now, you're free to disagree with him about the actions that he takes and whether those things are good. Maybe you think tariffs are bad for the American people. Okay, make your argument. Be convincing and let the people decide whom they believe. Maybe you think Venezuelan drug smugglers should be allowed to take their speedboats into America and bring tons of drugs. Yeah. Maybe you think that's good. Maybe you think illegal immigration is a good thing. Make your argument. Trump does not agree with those things, so he's stopping them, period.
Yeah, neither do I, and that's why I voted for him. I mean, that's all common sense. The one thing I want to know about this, we're taking over the country. I guess it's obviously going to be temporary. We're going to send in some companies, and we're going to build some infrastructure. I'm sure we're going to have a sweetheart deal once we start pumping that oil. But who's going to be placed in? Now, I know Eduardo Gonzalez was he was the elected president in 2024. I wonder if they've talked to him. Maybe he doesn't want to go there. There's a lot of public assassinations you've seen down there in South America and a lot of these countries, Central America. Maybe he thinks the protection's not there. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see who's going to take the reins, so to speak. Let's see what Trump is saying real quick. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Let's turn it up, and I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation this morning. It's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's fantastic, man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth.
Pete's doing a great job.
Thank you.
I want to see if Marco Rubio is going to speak after this.
Can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Oh, we got Hegseth.
Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men, and I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve, the most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long.
Steve, let me comment on that real quick. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hegseth just said, our enemies should be on notice that America can project its will anywhere, anytime. Half of the country is going to start bawling their eyes out at that because they don't like the idea that America projects strength. It's an aversion to them. The other half of the country loves hearing shit like that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'll go back.
No, I like it. It's strength and honor, baby.
Oil that was stolen from us, and deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back.
I want to hear Rubio.
Now our chairman, Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details.
Kane's going to talk. You want to hear him?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro.
Did you know that in 2 minutes, AI can plan your whole 2026 strategy?
Hold on.
And
Why
you're
does this
still
keep
asking
happening?
random questions.
It's commercials.
And conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd, and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that frankly only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists. And we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration with
I know. Trump kind of mentioned all this. We'll wait for we'll see if Marco comes up. Look, it was, we know it, our guys pulled it off. They're the best at it. It was impressive to go in. I didn't even know it was happening or it was a possibility. I know we had an embargo. We sent some ships down there. The boats happened. A few have been happening for months now. We've been blowing boats out of the water, which I found it funny that some of the liberals were saying, what if those were fishing boats? Well, do you know the difference between a speedboat and a fishing boat?
Right. Well, the thing is, they're rallying. It's
but
like they rally around the worst. I mean, just the worst causes, the dumbest causes.
right.
You know, I don't get it. I do get it. What am I saying? I do get it. It's because they have to fight Trump. I mean, there are people. There's a huge chunk of this population that is so pathologically opposed to everything Trump stands for that they want to hear everything he says and does is the worst decision in the world, and so that's what the media gives them. So it's that's why Trump won all 7 swing states. People are just sick of that rhetoric.
All seven popular vote. I got to tell you, it's California. Like, you take California out of the mix, I mean, the popular vote is not even close.
Yeah,
it's like not even close. But I have a feeling they had some illegal votes. Let's see what he's saying real quick.
Earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right trigger.
Trump's even like, he's getting sick of this. He's like, move on.
Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings. But when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern time last night, the president ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49. And there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective, and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit, but remained flyable, and as the president said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board. And both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Iwo Jima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong. Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent.
So Justin,
today.
I gotta say, for him to go in and do this, what a dice roll. I mean, you heard one of the planes get hit. Say it goes down. Say we lost 5-6 people. Say we didn't even capture Maduro and his wife. I mean, this was a big dice roll, and it worked so well. But what if it didn't work good at all? The media would have been all over him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't recall Republicans complaining about Obama going in to get Osama bin Laden out of Pakistan. I mean, that was another risky move by Obama. He took it. It paid off. Helicopter got shot down there, or not got shot down, but it crashed because of aerodynamic issues or something. But again, I'm just the headline for me is the hypocrisy and just the overall embracement of weakness on the part of. Let me hear Marco. Yeah.
The following points: Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
we should make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
everybody claim it. He deserves it, but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know, because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not.
I think Rubio's a sneaky candidate for president in 2028.
If he says he's serious about something, he
absolutely.
And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Mr. President.
Questions?
Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela. So who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Mr.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it, but we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But
nice dice roll.
Lost a lot, and we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let.
Let's just keep it.
They stole our.
Like that oil tanker.
Built that whole industry there. And they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you explain the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Mr. President.
That would run Venezuela?
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead. I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world, and it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there. A lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Would be.
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well,
going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is
Well,
about
he
that.
has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved.
Sure. We call members of Congress immediately after. This is not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice. And the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Plus, if I could add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
You were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say.
47 seconds.
The steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
So where's Maduro?
Go ahead, finish.
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me,
that
though.
weigh on your decision?
Well, that's why we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer.
Midnight Hammer.
Incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So, with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
Mr. President, can you? How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want the Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia, when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to. In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that? Oh,
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember, I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. that's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
They're going
troops
to be a
to
team
provide?
that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States. And frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
So, Mr. President, what is being done to protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans
Well, right now they're
arrested
very
last
protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba is an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. Suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent.
All right, Steve-O, 12:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, we got a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
So what are your final thoughts before we leave?
I think that Donald Trump is a man of action. He's a man of strength. He's a man who takes bold action. And he's a man who I don't think is terribly afraid of what his avowed critics think of him. And I hope that this momentum that he has restarted with his reelection about 1 year ago, he's been in office less than a year here for his second term. I hope this momentum continues. I think good things are happening in the world. There's a couple topics you and I did not get to. We might have to do another coffee with Dew sooner rather than later.
Sure. Yeah, that press conference lasts a little long, but that's okay.
But, I think this is a good day for the people of America. And look, we've got at least another 3 years of Trump in office. Probably that's it. I don't think he's going to be able to find a way to run in 2028.
No.
But it looks like either Rubio or JD Vance will probably be the next president. I think they subscribe to the Trump doctrine. I think things are looking up, my friend.
I agree, Justin. I'll be watching this story closely. We'll talk soon. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll let you guys know next time we have a Coffee with Dew. Go Bears!
All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you, brother. Later.
Later. Bye-bye.